A devastating day in Evergreen.
This is the scariest thing you could ever think that could happen.
A student goes on a shooting spree at Evergreen High School, hurting 2 of his classmates before dying of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
All shootings occurred on school grounds, some inside, some outside.
Terrified students scatter, taking cover wherever they can.
There's a guy there. He yelled some things, and he shot at us at least twice.
He took shelter in somebody's house, and then they guided other kids into that house as well.
Tonight, your reporters are live with team coverage as families reunite and the community comes together to deal with the shooting at Evergreen High School.
Tracking another tragedy in our community, a teenager is dead after shooting 2 others at Evergreen High School.
It has been a difficult day here in Evergreen and in the surrounding communities. We do know as we come on live on the air tonight that school here at Evergreen High School has been canceled for the rest of the week as this community begins the grieving process and begins to process what happened here today. Students tell us they were at lunch and recess this afternoon when they heard gunfire and took cover wherever they could. The first call to law enforcement came in at 12:24 this afternoon. The Jeffco Sheriff's Office tells us hundreds of officers from across the metro area responded within minutes. They say the first officers were here on campus at Evergreen High School within just 2 minutes. We know that 3 people, all students, were transported to St. Anthony's Hospital in Lakewood with gunshot wounds, including the shooter. Tonight, we know one of the victims has non-life-threatening injuries. The other victim, we're told, is still in critical condition. And again, Evergreen High School has been closed for the rest of the week. The Jefferson and Conifer districts announcing several other school closures for tomorrow as well. Those schools in Jefferson County include Bergen Elementary, Evergreen High, Evergreen Middle, Parmalee Elementary, and Wilmot Elementary will all be closed tomorrow. And in Conifer High, Elk Creek Elementary, Marshdale Elementary, West Jefferson Elementary, and West Jefferson Middle will be closed as well. Now, in the aftermath of today's shooting, of course, this school went on lockdown, and we saw parents rushing to this school to reunite with their children. It was an emotional scene. Many parents tell us they learned about the shooting when they got phone calls or text messages from their students here at the high school telling them what had happened. Many of those families also sharing their story today with your reporter, Tori Mason, who joins us now live in Evergreen. And Tori, a frightening situation for both parents and students as they tried to figure out what exactly was going on.
Well, Michael, I saw one mother sprinting barefoot, shoes in hand, just trying to reach her child. I saw parents hugging their kids for so long, it was almost as if to figure out if they're real. As a reporter, it's tough approaching families in these situations. We want to be sensitive. We want to respect their space. But I want you to know that all the parents, all the students that you are about to hear from wanted to speak with us. They wanted you at home to understand what those children went through today. Buses carried hundreds of teens to their parents. The day in question, how was school, needed no answer.
This is your welcome to high school, huh?
Her son Paxton is a freshman at Evergreen High School.
We just heard a bunch of gunshots, probably like 15 to 30, and we just sprinted.
Students ran as gunshots rang through the halls. Tyler, still in his gym clothes, heard the chaos in PE.
It was a lot. I couldn't really explain it. It's just, I was scared to death and speechless.
Here, in a parking lot turned waiting room, families embraced. Fear turned into relief. The sadness they still felt wasn't grief.
It just is so frustrating and maddening that this keeps happening.
Students scared for their lives. Sisters Haley and Abigail were more scared for each other.
We were actually supposed to have a drill like a week ago, and it got canceled.
Yeah, so none of the freshmen knew what to do.
They heard locks, lights, out of sight. Abigail was outside.
We saw tens of kids and teachers running up the hill screaming.
Inside, Silas and his friends were eating lunch.
And we hid right around the door corner where they told us to hide.
They hid in corners only to face the gunman on the other side.
There's a guy there. He yelled some things, and he shot at us at least twice.
The sophomore was unharmed, but this day will leave scars you can't see and lessons no kid should learn in school.
It's going to shape them for the rest of their lives, and I hope it motivates them to try to change some laws as well.
Now, that dad you just heard from, he has 2 sons at the high school. He also has a daughter at the nearby middle school. She heard about what was happening, but she was too afraid to call them, too afraid because she feared the ringing phone might put them in even more danger. And it's crazy that a 7th grader has that much awareness. They've learned things from other tragedies, and unfortunately, they've had to apply those today. Michael.
Yeah, certainly something that we see all too often in our community and across this country. Tori, thank you. And we do know that there are resources for people in this community tomorrow. There will be a resource and information center at Bergen Meadow Elementary School beginning at 9 a.m. for anyone who wants to take part in that. I do want to bring in now your reporter in the foothills, Alan Janae, joining us live here. And Alan, you live in Evergreen, just a few minutes from this high school. You were one of the first reporters on scene today. This road right by the high school was blocked off. You actually had to hike up in order to get here because of the massive police response here. And you have the latest on the next step of this investigation tonight.
Yeah, it's a where do we go from here at this point. Now, investigators say that they said that they would be executing a search warrant at the home of the shooter to try and get at maybe some of the reasons why this happened. They say that they do believe this is going to be a long process to investigate this, to look into it, to look for maybe how it unfolded and the reasons why.
A home near Evergreen High School. Panicked children fleeing, looking for refuge from gunfire. Pounding and hoping the door would be opened. A father later explained what his son went through.
The kids all ran out the emergency door and were running through the woods. He took shelter in somebody's house, and then they guided other kids into that house as well.
From above outside the school, it was a view all too familiar of young people filing out of a school amid a school shooting. Law enforcement rushed in from all over.
We're law enforcement. Police and fire just show up. When you hear the words active shooter and you know that there's kids involved, we're coming. And a lot of people self-deployed, and we're grateful for it. There was a need to get here, and if there was going to be a continued active shooter, we were going to stop that threat.
We heard the gunshots.
Mark Whalen was working on solar equipment on the roof of the school.
Initially, it was more of a slow rate, but there was like a rapid burst at one point, it sounded like.
The young gunman, armed with a handgun, was shooting at other students both inside and outside the school. A neighbor saw injured on the ground near one of the school's entrances, taken away by ambulance. Parents began to show up, looking for answers about their children, racked with worry.
I can tell you this, I would never use the words patience with parents that are wanting to know where their kids are and if they are safe.
Authorities say the suspect shot himself. The injured were rushed to hospitals. Soon the situation settled down. But students had to be checked and bussed out. Parent Jan Weber, who spent heartbreaking time waiting for her son, finally saw him.
I had to stay. I kept saying to leave, but I had to stay and just make sure he was on the bus and going.
But you just saw him, his face,
Her freshman son was okay. Now they will have to deal with the aftermath.
He had to stay for some interviews, so I don't know what he's seen or what he heard, obviously.
Jefferson County, where the school shooting at Columbine High School in the 1990s seemed to open an era of them, is now dealing with another shooting tragedy. And that angered Superintendent Tracy Dorland.
We cannot pretend that this is just another tragic incident. The pain of this incident reopens old wounds.
Now, Evergreen High School does have a school resource officer, but that school resource officer was not at the school today when that shooting unfolded. The head of school security with Jeffco told me that oftentimes when that happens, they will have other deputies move closer to schools so that they're nearby when things unfold. Now, there is a sheriff's office substation just down the road here. They were here within just a couple of minutes. What happened with the school resource officer, why that person wasn't here today, which is not unusual, by the way, will be part of what is looked into and what happened on this terrible day in Evergreen.
And certainly so grateful for those first responders who responded in the fashion with which they did. Jackie Kelly from the Jeffco Sheriff's Office saying that it felt like the entire metro responded today, and certainly grateful for their response, Alan.
You could see them.
Yeah.
You know, all the different departments from all over, up and down the Front Range. They were here fast.
Grateful for those who were here and for those crews who rushed the 3 victims today who suffered gunshot wounds to the hospital. They went to St. Anthony's Hospital in Lakewood. That is a level 1 trauma center. It's about 20 miles away, depending upon which way you go. It is the closest level 1 trauma center to this high school, and that is where your reporter Sarah Horbakowitz spent the entire afternoon. Sarah, I know it has been a long day for you. What can you tell us tonight about the 2 victims who are still at that hospital?
We know that one of the victims has non-life-threatening injuries and is in stable condition tonight, but another victim is still in critical care as doctors continue to monitor both of these patients. We've been in regular touch with the hospital here as I've been here all afternoon, and we heard from them earlier this evening about the latest that they know. Dr. Brian Blackwood leads the trauma department at Common Spirit St. Anthony's Hospital. Finding out Wednesday, students who were shot at Evergreen High School were on their way in.
This morning we had about 5 to 10 minutes of prep time, hearing that patients were coming. We weren't sure exactly how many patients.
Multiple ambulances, fire personnel, and police officers surrounded the emergency entrance as the hospital worked to treat those coming in and get in touch with loved ones.
As a father myself, I can put myself in their shoes and kind of understand what they're going through, and I just try and be supportive and caring to them in this time. You know, unfortunately, these events don't just affect the patient, it affects the families, the friends of the patients, the school, the community, and we want to be mindful of all those people.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office sharing later in the day that one of those patients was the suspected shooter, who later died from his injuries after shooting himself. Wednesday's school shooting comes just a few weeks after the hospital went through a mass casualty training.
That routine practice always allows us to be better prepped for when these things occur in real life. You know, unfortunately, they are going to happen at some point, and we want to be ready when they do.
Now, the hospital says they plan on spending the next few days and even weeks helping support patients and their staff during this tragedy.
With any age patient, when something like this happens, it's unexpected, it's shocking to the patients, to their family members, to the community. We work really hard on just being supportive, not just medically, but in any way possible.
Police presence has dwindled here over the past few hours, but this is still an active level 1 trauma center, so you will continue to see ambulances in and out, but that might not necessarily be connected to anything that happened today. We are continuing to get the latest from the hospital while respecting the family's privacy as they work to grieve or work through anything that may be going on in the hospital. We do expect to hear more from the trauma surgeon early tomorrow morning. For now, reporting in Lakewood, Sarah Horbakowitz covering Colorado First.
All right, Sarah, thank you. And tonight, the community coming together to help as best they can support the families, not only of those 2 victims who are still in the hospital, but of all of those who were here at Evergreen High School during today's attack. We know there was a vigil held that just wrapped up at the Flatirons Church in Genesee just about an hour ago. Your reporter, Gabriella Vidal, joins us live from there tonight. And Gabby, I know you had a chance to join the community for that vigil this evening.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. And it was a moving and emotional vigil tonight. It was here at Flatirons Community Church here near Genesee, just behind me. That parking lot so full earlier this evening as people came together to honor the lives that were impacted by this shooting in Evergreen. Now, of course, we did get to go inside. We weren't allowed to have cameras inside because they just wanted to respect the privacy of the people that were coming together. There's a lot of tears, a lot of crying, a lot of hugging that was taking place inside. Definitely wanted to be respectful of that. But I did get to sit inside there and just see the outpouring of support from this community. So many people. This entire church was full with people from the Evergreen community, parents and students who were attending Evergreen High School at the time the shooting happened. Some of them I even got to speak to before the vigil began, just saying how shaken up that they are about the whole situation. It was a great opportunity for everyone to come together and really be in the moment about this tragedy that's been unfolding. And there was also counselors on site available for people if they needed to talk and discuss the situation a lot more, Michael.
Yeah, Gabby, you know, Evergreen High School has about 900 students in it, so obviously all of them impacted by what they saw today. And you think about this community, it's a tight-knit community, and not only the Evergreen community, but the communities around it as well. I know you had a chance to talk to some businesses in this community. We will check back in with you in just about 10 minutes and get their take on what happened today and how they are coming together to support this community. Michelle, we have also been tracking reaction from lawmakers in our state and hearing from them as they respond to today's violence here at Evergreen High School.
Yeah, Michael, a lot of people weighing in, and not long after the shooting, Governor Polis shared a statement saying in part, quote, students should be able to attend school safely and without fear across our state and nation. We are all praying for the victims and the entire community.